Hey, what's up? It's Comic95, the Savior, and for this video, I will be giving you 20 tips on how to tell if you're dating a Japanese man that has money, or if he's basically just false flagging, fake flexing, and pretending to be and have something that he does not. You have to watch my other videos on my dating series. I go into other details, like more specifically about some of these things, but I want to say straight off the bat that for starts, I'm going to make another video, which I'll probably post before this one, because I know guys are going to lose it, and some girls too that are married to and dating broke men that want to feel good about their relationship, or broke guys that want to feel good about their empty pockets. So I'm going to play PC politics with you in that video, and I will talk about the, pros and cons to dating somebody that does have money. To give you a little bit of background on myself, I've actually dated two different guys that were millionaires. I had the potential to date one that I'm still kind of talking to, but probably not going to go anywhere. I'm currently single right now, keeping it real with you. I've dated doctors, I've dated engineers, I've done it all. Most of the men that I've dated at this point in my life have been making a minimum of about $100,000+ a year, which, depending on where you live in Japan, that can be anywhere from a lot of money to a, good livable wage or whatever for a married couple, or, especially if you're living alone. So keep all of that stuff in mind. I'm young. I don't have children. I have a degree. I have a career. However, I'm also going to keep it real. I'll talk about this more in that other video. Men like women that look good. Women like men that have financial stability, that offer them protection, that are masculine, that are dominant. There's always going to be the exception to the rule. I'm not playing PC politics with you, like I said. It's just the way that we are genetically wired, whatever you want to call it. The reality is it's much easier for men in that sense, because while sure, women are born with their looks and they can even enhance them with makeup and surgery, etc., surgery and makeup can only do so much for you, for starts. And secondly, unlike beauty, anybody can make money, and unlike beauty, money helps you more than it helps the girl that you're trying to attract. If you go to school, get a degree, get an education, get yourself a career that pays well, you don't even need to get bitches. You automatically have money right off the bat for yourself. So whether that girl stays with you, goes, whatever, not only do you now have the ability to attract women that are out of your league by having an education and money, you have more money and education for yourself. Whereas for women, yeah, you can look good and, kiss yourself in the mirror and whatnot, but at the end of the day, your beauty and looks will fade over time, for starts. And secondly, your looks don't really do so much for yourself besides attracting a partner. Having money as a man does more than just attract a partner. It gives yourself financial stability. It gives yourself the ability to travel, to party, to do other things. So let's stop playing that game and be like, there's more to life than money. You need money to have a family. You need money to buy a house. You need money to have a car. You need money to eat. You need money for clothes. You need money to survive. There are people all around the world dying every day because of a lack of money. So let's stop playing games and pretend like money doesn't matter and it's not important, because the same guys that say that, you go after girls that look good, because by that standard, your wife don't need to look good for you to have a baby with her. Women don't need to be attractive to cook or clean for you, do they? No. But you want to F somebody and look them in the eyes that, you find attractive. That's young. That's that. Men like young, attractive, fit women, or women that have the body type that they personally like. Okay, well, women like tall, financially stable, well-educated men. Simple as that. I don't make the rules. I play by the game. So, off of that, I'll talk about that in another video. This video is specifically talking about Japan, but these things will overlap into other countries as well, I'm sure. But do keep in mind, once again, I don't make the rules. I'm just telling you. This is my own observation. This is not some sort of, dating dictionary. This is my own 2 cents. I have dated tons of men, countless men that I cannot name, date, whatever. I've gone on so many dates, I could literally cross past somebody that I dated and not even remember them. I'm very popular here in Japan. Let me just clarify for people that like to read in between the lines. I'm keeping it 100% real with you. How do you think I'm able to make these videos talking about dating, giving my 2 cents, telling all these story times, etc.? Obviously, I've dated a ton of different people here. However, I also do have standards. My goal isn't to date people to use them for their money or anything else, but I also have standards for myself. I realize that if I'm going to date somebody, I want them to be somebody that's actually financially stable, that I can see myself marrying, having children with, and that I know can support me. I'll talk about this more both in this video and other videos, etc., but I just want to put that out there. However, once again, dating somebody doesn't mean that you have sex with them. I most certainly have not had sex with everybody that I've dated, but I will also say the flip side that people don't like to talk about much. Having sex with more than one person doesn't mean that you have an STD or necessarily that you're even at risk for one. I will keep it real. You don't want to purposely run around having multiple partners because the more people you do sleep with, not to contradict myself, yes, of course, you are increasing the chance of that happening. Life happens, things happen, mistakes happen, condoms slip, people lie about their past, their history, whether they're clean or not. I totally agree with that part of it. But at the same time, if you're continuing to date people, you're single, you're not married, like most people, your number of partners is going to be more than somebody that got married early on and has a monogamous, non-cheating relationship. So at least I'm being honest and real with you. I most certainly have had multiple partners over the course of years, but this video is not about who you slept with. I'm specifically talking about dating, but I know that guys, and even some girls, are going to try to bash me for that or whatever. But like I said, let me be the test dummy then. I can tell you about what to look out for, what type of guys do this, that, and the other, because I've dated them all at this point. I know the different personalities. I know the different games. There's always exceptions to every rule. I've come across some pretty smart guys that know how to, tweak the system a little bit, and you might be able to trick me into going on a date with you, but I most certainly can make up my mind about you after that date. And that's the purpose in dating. Dating is not actually a formal relationship. It's literally you going out to do something romantic normally, romantic and or fun together for you to get to know each other, and from there you decide, is it someone that I see myself, having as a partner for life? And from there you have an official, monogamous, whatever relationship. You date for months, years, whatever, and decide, do you want to marry this person? Okay, well, it's the same thing with me. When I go on a date with you, this is my way of further screening you. I get to meet you in person. I see what you actually look like. There's no filter, no Photoshop, no catfishing. I see who I'm really going out with, and I get to know you. I can ask you questions, etc. Things that I couldn't do previously, online or at the bar or whatever. It's my alone time with you. You'd be a fool to just stop at, the first person you go on a date with. So of course I've dated countless people. And in the process of doing that, I've also realized, oh, I don't like this person. This person's not my type, etc. You have to date them, get to know them, to decide, do you want to be with this person or not? I have lots of options in Japan. I am viewed as attractive in Japan. And with that said, it's easy for me to go on dates. It's easy for me to be picky and choosy about who I will date, who I will not date. This is not to brag, but rather to say I speak from personal experience when it comes to how to weed out guys, how to tell who's worth your time and not. I've personally tried to date people that weren't doing so good education-wise, financially, whatever, and it never works out. Not because of me, but normally because of them. And realistically, I'm glad that it didn't work out, because who wants struggle love? Women, especially black women, are always, being pinned into a corner and pushed down and beat down into trying to accept the fact that they should be lucky that any man looks their way, and that they shouldn't care about having to work while they're, 8 months pregnant, should be on bed rest, etc. You're taught that you deserve the bare minimum. It's like Future or somebody has been talking to these dudes and telling them, what should be okay and what isn't for women to want, etc. But these same dudes, they want you, though. They want the best looking girls, the youngest women. But God forbid you want a man that makes a decent salary that can support one child and a wife. God forbid you ask for that. So that's another story. So long story short, this is my opinion, my observation. You might say, oh, well, that's not true. This is whatever. Sweetheart, the exception is not the rule. I could think of guys that I dated that did not meet some of the criteria I'm going to list here, but that does not change the fact that they're the exception and not the rule. Keep that in mind. I do not care if your husband has pink hair and, 10 tattoos on his face, looking like Lil Pump and Lil Wayne combined or something. That is the exception and not the rule. So not to skip ahead, but I'm just letting you know, because I know somebody gonna be in my comments like, well, actually I dated a guy and he had this or he did that, and actually he had this much money. Okay, sweetheart, again, exception, not the rule. So let's go ahead and get started with my list. Number 1, his hair is black and short. Salarymen in Japan are generally required to have short haircuts and to have black colored hair or dark brown. If the guy you're dating has crazy wild colored hair, long hair, etc., while again there's always the exception to the rule, it's very unlikely that he has a truly good salary unless he's just mooching off of or living off of an inheritance that he got from his parents, etc., which even that is unlikely, because more than likely they will not be okay with their son looking like that. Japanese people care a lot about what their parents parents think. Their parents have a lot of influence over them, and so do their friends. If he looks like some street-like dude, more than likely he's working some street dude job, which means he's working in a factory, he's working retail, etc. Do not be fooled by that. I also want to add, moving on, I'm not going to elaborate on all of these points. I'm just going to go straight to them, give you a couple sentences, and you can fill in the blanks on your own. If you have more questions, you can leave them down in the comments. So let's keep it moving. Number 2, he's clean shaven. Generally, once again, salarymen are not allowed to have facial hair. So if he has facial hair going on, that's an automatic, red flag that, yeah, he definitely does not have money. If he doesn't have facial hair on the flip side of it, then you can pretty much rest assured there's a good chance that he might actually have a good career. But don't be fooled. You most certainly can have a job at 7-Eleven or something and have, clean shaven face. It happens. But again, I'm telling you how to generally tell, if this person has money. So you're combining all of these things. You're not going to go based off of just one point and be like, oh, my guy doesn't have a beard. That means he's rich. Just keep that in mind. Number 3, he has a car. Now, this one's a little bit tricky because, of course, there are broke niggas that do have cars too. It depends on how old the car is, what the car looks like, how clean it is, etc. And if it's his car. He most certainly can't be driving a rental car, his parents' car, etc. or some super old, bust-down, hamster-looking car type thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the guy that has a nice car. Unlike in the US, cars are not as commonly owned here in Japan, and they cost a lot of money to keep and maintain. Generally, you have to pay tons of fees from parking, taxes, etc. And even the driver's licenses here in Japan cost about $2,000. Yes, they cost money to get a driver's license. Whereas in the US, you just pay your little $15, $20 ID fee or whatever, and it's not a direct fee for getting your driver's license, but rather for the license itself, if that makes any sense. So you're basically paying for the service of getting it printed and not paying to actually be able to drive, if that makes any sense to you. So yeah, generally a guy that has a car, he automatically more than likely has at least a good job. He might not be rich, but he does have a good job. And keep in mind, when I say rich, I'm not talking about filthy rich like you're dating a millionaire, billionaire type thing. But I'm talking about a guy that's making a good salary, at least somewhere around the $90,000 and up range. Just giving you some general tips to look out for. Number 4, he dresses professionally and fashionably. So even if he's not at work, this guy would normally be wearing, some semi, business casual like clothing. Or if he likes to wear street clothes, like for example, I have some guys that I've dated as well as friends that like to wear, hip hop, street clothes, etc. They like hip hop, rap music, etc. You would not see them wearing some busted, torn up, Nike shoes, etc. They're going to be wearing whatever the latest is, or they'll have some sort of like retro shoes, but they keep their stuff clean. They wear nice polished outfits. They smell good, they look good. They do not allow themselves to, look raggedy. They will stay fashionable, whether they're at work and they're wearing suit and tie, or if it's the weekend, they will have, matching, well put together outfits, even if it's like jogging pants, etc. There's just a clean, polished look going on. They don't look like they just rolled out of bed. Number 5, he willingly pays for all of your dates. This is not the guy that's penny pinching, nickeling and diming and asking, do you have, 50 yen to cover, the change for this, or can you pay your half, or, none of that type of stuff like that. If he truly has money, he does not want you to pay a dime on any of your dates. I don't care if you go on a date every day of the week. He will cover and pay for everything. If he ever asks you at any point to cover something, pay for something, he's false flagging, girl. He ain't got no money. He either using his mommy and daddy money, or he using money that he don't really have, whether it's through credit or anything else like that. So do not fall for that. This dude ain't got no money if he's expecting you to pay for anything. Men that have money are not only, willing to buy everything for you, but they feel insulted and embarrassed that you want to. Like, even if he's a F-boy, if he has money, he's going to buy everything for you. No questions asked. You won't have to ask or wonder who's going to handle the bill. He's got it. Number 6, he doesn't flash and flaunt his money. He's not flexing. People that truly have money don't brag about the fact that they have money. They just have it. Of course, if he's given the spotlight, for example, in his profile, he might mention the fact that, he makes X amount of money a year, or that he has this career, whatever, but he's not going to literally be like, counting his money in front of you, constantly talking about money, etc. That's somebody that's trying to prove something. That's somebody that's lying to you. Generally speaking, guys are not stupid. If a dude is constantly trying to talk about his money, talk about his career, etc., he's literally just fishing for gold digging whores like you. He's looking for a girl that's trying to find a guy that has money. And see, men are smart. They will find girls because they know that girls like money. They'll find girls that want guys that have money, but they won't spend it on you. So don't be fooled into pulling down your panties because, oh my God, this guy's rich, he's a millionaire, he's whatever, because you'll do that. And he'll have you, busting it open for him. And he ain't spending a dime on you. He ain't buying you no bags. He's not taking you to fancy places, etc. You're liking the idea that there's potential that you can get knocked up and pregnant by this dude that's filthy rich. But he's being smart. He's using protection. He ain't spending his money on you. He's spending money where it benefits him. For example, he'll take you to a hotel. He'll buy you a nice little meal or something. But he's not going to go all out on you because he's not going to spend his real money. That's smart. That's a businessman. It also works for people that want a false flag on you too, because anybody can say that they're rich. How do you know if he really has money or not? I also wanted to add one more thing. I've mentioned this in other videos before, but I figured I should mention it here again too. For those of you that didn't watch that video, do keep in mind that guys that have money, even if they don't have money, if they have a car, he already has this car. So in your mind as a girl, I'm speaking from personal experience, you guys. I'm talking about this. I've dated rich guys that have played me like this. You might be thinking, oh my God, I'm driving in a Ferrari, his car is so nice. I'm in, a Rolls Royce, a Benz, whatever type of car he has. And you might be thinking, this is so cool. I can't wait to, make a Snapchat with this, show my friends, tell my mom, whatever the case is. He owns this vehicle. Even if he's paying a car note for it, that car note is still going to be there, whether you get in his car or not. And he's not just using that car on you. So do not be fooled by these dudes that pick you up in their car or whatever, or want to have a date just inside of his vehicle. Yes, it's impressive to you. Yes, it's nice. Yes, he's wasting gas money to get you, drive you around, whatever. Yes, I get that. But that's a drop in the bucket to have a taste of your pussy, basically. Do not fall for that crap. So don't, be thinking he picked me up, he did whatever. Girl, his car is there whether you getting it or not. It's an investment for a lot of these dudes. They know that these cars help them attract hoes. Just keeping it real. That's exactly why a lot of these guys want to get cars and why they brag about having them and why he messages you at 10 o'clock at night asking if you want to go on a drive date with him, knowing that there's no restaurants open, no bars, no nothing. It's a trap. So be very careful with that by the guy, that tries to act like he has money by showing off the fact he has a car. I've even dated a guy that had a Benz. It turned out the Benz is really his mama car, not his. So don't fall for that type of crap like that. Yes, having a car is nice, it's impressive, and it can be a sign of having money, but don't be fooled once again. Yes, he's picking you up in his car, but what is he buying you? What is he spending money on? Exactly. You're dropping your panties for the fantasy of driving around his Ferrari because you're impressed by his car, when really, he's just using you. It's bait, and you're falling for it. So be really careful with that. That's all I have to say. Once again, speaking from experience, I've fallen for this trap more than once. Just letting you know. I mean, we've all seen the YouTube videos by now with the girl, doesn't talk to the guy because he has a regular car. And then she sees he has the nice car. Now, for me, I ain't that kind of girl. But I'm not going to lie. If somebody's, feeding lies into my ear and making sound they like you or not, I made a video about this with dudes tricking you into sleeping with them. That's exactly what they do. They bait you with that. And then on top of the fact he's telling how much he loves you and likes you, he has money, has a car. You're going to fall head over heels for this dude. Why would you not? It's a trap. So just letting you know, and speaking from personal experience, I'm not saying this to bash you or make you feel bad about yourself, but I figured that girls that are, innocent, naive, and don't have a lot of dating experience, like I used to not, as well as girls that are younger, you might be impressed by this type of stuff, especially the guys that have savings. I talked about this stuff in other videos, but once again, for the girls that are dating a guy who's being a cheapskate, but claims to have all this money in savings, and he just seems too good to be true, use your own brain. A lot of men here are well off financially. A lot of men have a good savings here. This is not the US. This is not Europe. A lot of guys here have a lot of money put aside. What you think is a lot of money and you think is well off and wealthy and good salary is not. And again, let's say he does have a good career. It does not matter if the man you're dating has a huge, I don't care if he has $6 million in a savings account. If he's not spending that money on you, who gives a freak about it? Don't be stupid. Y'all over here marrying dudes, dating men because he says he has this much money inside his bank account or you saw that much money. It ain't your cash. He ain't finna give you access to it. So why do you care? Again, it's a bait. It's a trap. You know how many other girls he telling the same thing or showing the same thing? He probably cheating on you. He not going to spend that money on you, girl. He ain't that stupid. You think he saved all that money to throw it away on you? He's being a cheapskate with you for a reason. He's showing you what your future holds. If he can't spend money on you now because he's saving, why do you think it's going to change after you get married? Why buy the cow when the milk is free, basically? So, whatever. Why buy the cow? Why buy the milk when the cow is free? Whatever that saying is. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I can't remember it. But yeah, basically, don't be stupid. He's playing with you, girl. He'll exaggerate his job. Oh, I work in a hospital. What are you, the janitor? What are you, a nurse aide? exaggerating your position, but it works. Girls see that he's wearing, white medical jacket. Women see, oh, he, says that he works at a financial institute, whatever, and instantly their mind says he's rich, he has money. Do whatever he says, put up with anything that he does, because you are hoping that you'll be his wife, his girlfriend, his future, etc. Don't fall for that stuff. But yeah, guy that really has money, he's not going to go around bragging about the fact that he has money, constantly showing you what he bought, what he spent money on, what he's doing, etc. He's fishing for people like you. Girls are using men for money, so be very careful with that. Number 7, his accessories are clean, new, and expensive. So things such as his watch, his cell phone, his shoes, if he wears a necklace, his ring, anything else. Hopefully it's not a wedding band, but you know what I mean, like just any type of like accessories that he has, he makes sure that they look nice, they're clean, they're new, they're polished. He's not going to be wearing some old cubic zirconia, fake whatever type diamond type stuff where it's green and black and just crusty and nasty looking. Everything that he has is going to look nice. It's going to be new, and more than likely it's also going to match whatever he's wearing. He knows how to accessorize. He knows how to buy and wear nice looking shoes. He doesn't wear busted stuff. When things get old, he throws it away, donates it, whatever he has to do. You're not going to see him outside wearing anything that's just disgusting and raggedy looking. Again, always an exception to the rule, but generally speaking, he is going to be accessorized nicely. Number 8, he prefers independent and intelligent women. Any smart man that has money, which is pretty much most of them, they do not want some so-called dumb blonde type chick on their arm. They do not want somebody that is a, gold digger, basically. They don't want somebody that's lazy. They might be willing to sleep with one, but they're not going to date one seriously, and they're definitely not going to make you their girlfriend. They want somebody that is independent. They want somebody that has their own. Of course, he knows that he makes more money than you. Of course, at the end of the day, he's going to want you to be a housewife for him. He knows that's what you want too, but he wants to know, or at least have that extra security that you're not just using him for his money. He wants to believe that you truly love him, you truly care about him, and that his money is just a bonus. So generally, these people don't like airheads. They want a girl that has a brain, a head on her shoulders, that's intelligent, and they also want a woman that is well educated. You might be thinking, oh, well, he's going to be the breadwinner, he's the man, he's whatever. Yes, you might be able to pull guys because yes, you are a pretty face or whatever. But again, generally speaking, a guy that has real money, he's the beauty part is going to get old after a minute. He's going to be like, okay, yeah, you're pretty, but I have money. I can attract a girl that is pretty and beautiful. I'm sorry, that's pretty beautiful. A girl that's beautiful and educated and that has her own career and that's intelligent. He can get all of that just like how you can get all of that. So with that said, yes, you can technically use your beauty to get you into a relationship with a rich guy when you have nothing going on for yourself, but at the same time, so can he. He can also get himself a girl that looks better than you, that's younger than you, that has a better education than you do, that has a better career than you do. And generally speaking, a guy that has money doesn't want to waste it on a girl who's just milking him dry, of his money inside of his bank account. He wants to have that security knowing that you have a career and a life outside of him, and that you're not just running around looking for men that has money. It's stupid and a double standard, I know, but I'm keeping it real. I'm not speaking from my side of a girl. I'm talking about how men feel about this, because realistically, like how I said at the beginning, it's kind of an unfair double standard. Women are bashed for liking men that have money, but we don't bash men for liking girls that look good. Even although looking good is more of the superficial part. Anybody can make money. So that's another story. We're not going to talk about that right here. Let's keep it moving. Number 9, his profile is lengthy and well written. Guys that have money are not going to just write, nice to meet you, hi, I like beer. It's going to be more detail. He's going to talk about his hobbies, things he likes to do, what he's looking for, etc. He'll generally write a lot inside of his profile. Again, it speaks on his intelligence, his work ethic, whatever you want to call it. It kind of it's normally like a telltale sign. Like generally people that don't have a lot inside their profile, it's generally a clear indicator not only that they're an F-boy, but on top of it that the guy that you're talking to doesn't have a good career, doesn't have money, etc. You can meet people that already step into the rule. I've most certainly dated somebody that I can think of right off the top of my head, one of my exes, that falls into that category where he wasn't rich or anything, but he was making good money considering he was living in Osaka. He was making $80,000 a year. But his profile was not lengthy. It was very, very simple. And even his first initial messages were not very good. But again, that's the exception and not the rule. Long story short, somebody that has a lot written inside their profile, it's well written, there's good grammar, not a bunch of slang, they're not talking about how big, their what size is their mushroom and stuff like that. Those are the people that generally are classy, that have money. A man that truly has a good career is not going to be telling you what the circumference of his eggplant is and just crap like that, and talking about how he likes to smoke weed every day, just weird stuff like that. Like, I get it in the US, Europe, whatever, that might be normal, okay to do, but we're talking about Japan, where somebody that has money, that has a career, that has a good job, he is not going to want to talk about himself in that type of way. He wants to maintain an image of seeming classy, professional, and engaging in legal activities. So he's not going to go into that. And even if he did like those things when he was a student, he's not going to talk about that now as a real salary man, as an adult. It's just not going to be in his profile. Number 10, he doesn't have tattoos or piercings. So like I said at the beginning of this video, even though I didn't put that inside of a point, I was kind of given a disclaimer about exceptions to the rule. Guys that have tattoos and piercings automatically are out. You cannot be a salary man with tattoos and piercings. And even if you think, oh, well, he takes it out on the weekend, or his tattoo's covered on his back, it is extremely unlikely, because normally people that do want to have, good careers like that, they want to be able to travel, they want to be able to go to onsens and gyms and other things like that, and you just can't do that with those things. Not to mention that you have to use a photograph and you have to go in person to interview for your job. So just by your employer seeing that you have the little holes in your eyebrows or ears or nose, the places where there should be a piercing, is generally going to be a turn off from an employer, from potential dates, friends, whatever, because people are going to associate your tattoo, your piercing, with you being a rebel, yakuza, bad guy, whatever type thing. So even although you might be thinking to yourself, like, oh, well, I have a tattoo, or these things are okay in my country, this is not your home country, this is Japan. General rule of thumb, always going to be an exception to the rule. I'm pretty sure tons of people in the Yakuza are rich, but we're not talking about exceptions to the rule. We're talking about the average person. We're talking about, trying to find guys that have money, and this is just general rule of thumb. Always going to be somebody that, breaks one of these rules or several of them. That's just facts. Not going to go into that with you, not playing PC politics. You get what I'm saying. Number 11, he lives alone. Now, of course, you most certainly can live alone and be living inside of a crappy apartment and work in some factory job. But generally speaking, if he lives alone, that means that he decided to go the more expensive route instead of staying with mom and dad, in which you can live rent-free, have somebody cook your meals, clean your house, handle your laundry for you, etc. Have other people to talk to. Generally, somebody that wants to live alone, unless he's just being a man whore, which you can be doing that too, and I've dated tons of them. Generally speaking, you have a good job, or at least a kind of okay one, because you're willing to pay your own bills, pay for your own food, etc. You want that independence, and that generally says this guy has money. He can afford to do that. But again, this is something to be taken, with a grain of salt. Having your own place alone does not equal having money in Japan. There has to be other factors that are, involved with it. You most certainly can have money and choose to save even more by living at home. But again, those people are the ones that I've put underneath the false flagging category, because it's easy to appear to have money when mom and dad pay all your bills. So it's really easy for you to save up money and to go out and wine and dine girls, because you don't have any bills, you don't have any kids, you have no living expenses. So you can easily wow a girl over by spending $200-300 on a date, because you never spend $200-300, because your mommy makes all of your meals for you, your dad pays your rent, your mom does your laundry, she cleans your house, you ain't getting no poo-na-na. So you have plenty of money to waste on other people, plenty of money to invest, etc., which sounds nice, but it's not really money, because as soon as you move out, get your own place, get married, all of that magical money that you had saved up magically disappears, because now you have rent, you have mortgage, you have bills, you have children, you have babies, you have medical bills, etc. The list goes on. So that's an example of false flagging, and I see girls fall for that all the time, where they're impressed by the guy, say, oh, he has a savings, whatever, which I should have added this in a point, but I want to say this quickly. Sorry for talking on longer than I said I was going to initially, but a lot of guys here have well over $30,000 put in savings. That's not a lot for here in Japan. I can't really explain it. I'll make a video about this later, but they save money much differently than how we do in the US. It doesn't mean it's not much for a guy to have that. In fact, I've never dated a guy that had anything less than about $20,000 in savings, and that's considering the fact that most of the people that I dated were making a good to average salary, but I still was not impressed by that. By US standards, I would have been impressed, but in Japan, No, because for all of these men, you want to know what they did? They didn't work when they were in high school. They didn't even have to work when they were in college. Their parents paid for everything on their behalf. So they had tons of time and money to put aside in savings. They had no bills, and they're a lot more disciplined with money than we are. So this is actually kind of a good stereotype about them, but it's true. They're really good at saving money. They're really good at spending money. They're really good at, being frugal and, not just going overboard. Whereas with us, the moment we get money in the US, we spend it, especially when we're young. So that's another story. I'm not going to get into that for this video, but yeah. Number 12. He has expensive hobbies, so he might like doing things like, playing tennis or golf, or this one's a little bit tricky, but things like training, so running, weightlifting, etc. Now, this is within limits. Broke niggas like doing this stuff too. And that's why I said it's within limits. It depends on what the guy looks like and all the other points added together. Somebody that just likes weight training does not mean he has money. There are tons of broke men with blonde hair and tattoos that like to go to the gym every day. That is not the guy I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy that matches all the other criteria that I'm talking about, and he also has these additional hobbies. It's also very common for people to false flag and pretend like they go golfing, because golfing is definitely the number one thing associated with money in class for salarymen here. Generally speaking, as soon as a guy becomes a salaryman, his, I forgot what they call them, his, the kohai, whatever they call it, his senpai will like instantly start inviting him, them and his boss to go out golfing together. It happens all the time. So whether they like it or not, they pretend to like it because they know that women like it, because women associate guys that go golfing with having money. And they don't like golfing. It's a boring sport. But because they know that bitches like it, they pretend to like it too. They convince themselves to like it, because when you tell people, oh, I go golfing, I do whatever, it instantly says that you have money, basically. So things like golf, tennis in particular. Golf and tennis are the two biggest ones, but doing other like little sports, etc. like that, those are generally signs of a guy that has class, that has money, and that ain't no broke nigga. So yeah, just generally speaking. Number 13, he's well-traveled and internationalized. This guy has been around the world. He's gone to several countries, and generally speaking, if he's gone to English-speaking countries in particular, it normally says that he has money. The reason why I say English-speaking countries is not just because I'm an American, but because they're normally harder countries to get into. Specifically, if it's a country like the US, it's very easy for somebody to go somewhere like Canada or Australia, because they have really easy, opportunities to get visas to both live and study and even work in those countries. So generally, when you talk to people when they have been abroad, they'll either tell you they've been to Canada or the UK. Sometimes, not the UK. They'll tell you they've been to Canada or Australia. Sometimes the UK. But generally speaking, if they've been somewhere like the US, that says a lot, especially if they went to school there, and or if they did, not study abroad, but if they worked abroad there. That generally says a lot. Somebody that's internationalized generally means that they have money. It's expensive to live abroad. It's expensive to get a visa, etc. So yeah, somebody that was able to make that happen, they're normally not only intelligent and internationalized, which will make them a great partner to date normally, but this also means that they more than likely have money, because it took money to be able to do those things, and it's likely that their family has money too, not just them. So yeah. Number 14, he's multilingual or bilingual. This person can generally speak more than one language. A lot of people that do have good salaries, good careers, they also went to good schools. They had a good education. In order to get a good education here in Japan, you generally have to be fluent in more than one language, and people generally choose English because it is the language of the world. They like American culture, American stuff, and so normally they prefer to use an American dialect accent because it's the commonly used and taught, English within Japan and really around the world. And on top of that, they know that it can get them into, the best universities in the world, which by Japan standards, they're all in the US. People value American schools over any other school, including Japan's own. It's treated like how, Apple's iPhone is. Whether you love or hate Americans, no matter what country you go to, even North Korea, people prefer America's Apple iPhones. They prefer our Hollywood movies. They prefer our entertainment. If you're on this platform right now, you're using YouTube, you're using we literally own the world. We have Google, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. The only thing that we don't have is technically TikTok, although theoretically that's kind of ours too in a way, but I'll give it to China for that. They created that. That's their platform. So that's another story. But you get my point. In a nutshell, Yeah, that's just the way that it goes. If he's capable of speaking more than one language, it generally says that this guy has a good career, because people want employees that are multilingual, that are bilingual, that are trilingual, etc. Especially if he happens to know, the languages of the world, like, I was about to say Chinese, English, and third to that would be Spanish. But Chinese and English in particular, those are generally signs that this person has a good education and that he has a good career. But again, don't get me wrong, exceptions to every rule. There are tons of broke people that are bilingual, that can actually speak English and run circles in English around those that actually went to, top universities here, and that can barely speak a second language, or that don't speak a second language. So keep that in mind. Number 15, he has a stable salary and work hours. This guy does not have random work days where he might have to work on Saturday. Maybe he doesn't. He might get off at 5. It might be 11. No. He has set in stone work hours. He generally will get off work earlier than other people. So for example, his job might actually have him start somewhere like around 8 or 8:30, and he gets off at 5 or 4. That's generally a good sign. But even if he works in a regular 9 to 6 job, because in Japan it's 9 to 6 and not 9 to 5, but let's say he works a normal 9 to 6 type of job, even then, even for those guys, they generally would have set hours. He's not going to be working a ton of overtime or being a company slave, etc. He can actually go home when it's time to go home. He starts when he's supposed to start. He doesn't have to work extra days. He doesn't have random work hours. If his hours are not consistent, he's telling you, I have to go into work today, whatever, either he's cheating on you and lying to you, or more than likely beyond that, because remember, we're in the dating phase here, I'm assuming, more than likely he's not working a good job. He's lying about his money. He's probably working some sort of retail job, factory job, janitorial services at a hospital. It's possible that he could be a doctor doing something else, and then of course he will be on call and have other work hours, etc. That's a whole nother story. But again, I'm talking about the general rule of thumb and not the exception to the rule. If he's doing some sort of career like being a doctor, that's a totally different story. Generally speaking, there are times in which they don't have to come in, but they might be called and asked to come in. And depending on the contract that they signed, I know this because I've dated doctors, depending on the contract that they signed, they might have to come into work legally, but they feel socially obligated to come into work to not let their team down. But some people are like, nope, my off days are Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. I'm not coming in. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You can contact me on those days. I might come in early or, stay late, but don't talk to me on my off days. They have the right to do that. So that's another story. We're not going to get into that, talking about that specifically. But generally speaking, he has a stable career, stable work hours. He's working a regular job. Not the guy that's like, oh, I freelance, whatever. I'm a creator. I do whatever on YouTube. I just hit my camera. The likelihood of him actually making stable money, having a stable salary from doing those things is slim to none. Again, there's exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, it sounds like that dude is capping. Do not believe him. Number 16, he drinks and smokes within moderation. Generally speaking, a guy that has money is not going to be somebody that's a binge drinker and, that has to smoke 3 packs a day type of person. Yes, he might have an addiction to these things, but generally speaking, it will be something that's done socially or within moderation. He's not going to be somebody that has, he's not going to be a full-blown alcoholic or someone that has to smoke 5 packs a day type thing and always, smoking like a chimney, smelling like cigarettes and alcohol and drunk and passed out on the street, etc. There are exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, the guys that you see doing that stuff, they're working lower end jobs, not the real salarymen that have, good stable work hours, good stable salaries. Salaryman does not mean money man. Salaryman literally just means that you have a regular office job that requires you to follow these stupid rules with your, physical appearance as far as haircut and, facial hair and, tattoos and piercings go, etc. And you generally wear a plain colored suit and tie to work. That's all that generally means. It does not mean that you're making good money. It does not mean that your money is even stable necessarily. So do not confuse salary man with rich man, because a lot of guys say, oh, I'm a salary man, and then you talk to him, it's like, my nigga, you making 280,000 yen a month, or you're making 300,000 yen a month. I'm making more money than you. You're talking about being a salary man like you're rich or something. That's brag worthy. So yeah, nothing special, nothing fancy. But like I was saying, generally speaking, he has those things under control. He's not going to be full on blown addicted to these things. And another reason why is they're expensive habits. If you have to constantly drink alcohol every single day, you're going to spend thousands of dollars over, a year. And even within a month, you'll spend hundreds of dollars doing that, US dollars doing that every day. It's an expensive habit to constantly buy pack after pack after pack of cigarettes, case after case after case of beer, sake, wine, etc. People that have true money generally limit these things. They don't want to go full on crazy with them because they know that those habits are not only bad for your health, but they're expensive for your wallet. Number 17, he's open about his career and education. People that truly have money have no problem with talking about what school they went to, no problem with talking about, where they got their education from, what their career is, etc. They're not ashamed of it. They're not gonna, beat around, for example, the guy that says, I work in a hospital. No. A real doctor would tell you he's a medical doctor. He'll talk about what he does specifically. He'll talk in more detail. Somebody that doesn't really have money will try to, make it sound like their job is better than what it really is. So they might say, oh, I, work in finance. And it's like, okay, well, what type of finance do you do? And then when you talk to them more, they kind of beat around it. And it's like, okay, are you a financial advisor? Are you working, stock exchange or whatever? Or are you working, as a bank teller or something? And more than likely it's going to be the bank teller in, or he's the guy that loads the ATM, or, something like that. Just lying and exaggerating their position. So yeah, people that have money, truly have money, good careers, good salaries, they love to talk about where they went to school. They love to talk about what their job and career is. And after doing that, they'll probably even ask you the same question back in return. But people that are false flaggers and liars, they don't want to go into detail about their work. They don't want to go into detail about their education. They'll make up all the excuses under the sun. Oh, it's personal. It's private. I want to get to know you. No. He's hoping that he'll get to have sex with you before those questions come up again and before he have to really answer those in detail. People that truly have it love to talk about it. They're not going to brag about it on their own per se, but if you ask, they'll be completely open about what they do. No questions asked. You won't have to play 20 questions with him. You ask what his career is, he'll tell you exactly what it is, exactly what he does. He won't beat around it. Same thing goes for engineers. Everybody says, oh, I'm an engineer. What kind of engineer? Do you work on cars? Do you work on computers? If people say, oh, I'm an engineer, and then it's like, you're an IT engineer making $20,000 a year. That is not the same as an engineer making $100,000+ a year. Completely different field. But we're not going to get into that for this video. Number 18, he doesn't work during the weekends. Generally speaking, guys that have money do not work weekends, but do not get me wrong. If he is someone that has, like a career like a doctor, or if he has his own business, like he's a CEO or something like that, then that's another story. There is a possibility that he might choose to work on the weekend, but more than likely he doesn't have to. He does this by choice. These are exceptions and not the rule. General rule of thumb, if he works weekends, he doesn't have a good career. If he works weekends, he's not a salaryman. If he works weekends, his money is not good. There's always going to be an exception to the rule, but most men with good jobs work stable 8:30 to 5, 9 to 6 type of jobs. They are not going to be working on Saturday and Sunday. Those are automatic off days unless he's doing something in sales, he's a doctor, whatever else. And truth be told, sales jobs automatically make it where you're not quite exactly making good money, if you ask me, because it's too dependent on your ability to make sales. Is it possible to have a good career? Possible to make money? Yes, but being the exception is not the rule. Most people cannot excel, succeed working in a sales position. And more than likely, he's capping and lying to you and talking more about his potential or a sale that he's made in the past and not what he makes regularly on a regular basis when he files his taxes. But that's a whole nother story. Not going to get into that for this video. Number 19, he has high standards and expensive taste in everything, both women and, the things that he buys. So generally speaking, a guy that has, a high salary, he is not going to settle for pop busted girls that don't take care of themselves. Yes, there are exceptions to every rule, but most guys like this, they do not want some obese chick. They do not want a girl that's super, super tall. They do not want a girl that is sloppy, a girl that is uneducated, a girl that has no home skills, can't cook, can't clean, can't do whatever. I hate to be the one to say it to you, but I'm not, speaking from PC politics. I'm going to keep it real. Guys that have money like that are just like girls that are beautiful. They know that they can get more. They know that they deserve more. So even if their looks are underneath you, they're not within your league looks wise, because he makes good money, he can attract women that look better than you, that can run circles around you, and for that reason, he will be picky and choose another girl over you instead of you. You might be thinking, oh, this dude busts anyway, all he has is money, and you're right, but all girls care about is money, stability, and height. And when it comes to money, women will date a guy that's short if he has money. They don't care. Similarly, a lot of guys will date a girl even if she's ugly because she has breasts, because she has a fat ass, etc. Even if she can't cook and can't clean. So it's a similar situation as far as that goes. I don't make the rules. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm just telling you how it goes. I'm a woman myself. I'm just the messenger. And with that said, yeah, generally a guy that does have money, he's not going to be super desperate because he knows he has other options. He knows there are other women that look better than you that he can get. So if you don't give him what he wants, he ain't finna be begging on his hands and knees for you. He'll just go for somebody else. At best, if he does slightly beg for you, it won't be like a desperate, oh, please, please, please type thing. It'll be more like a, oh, I miss you, I want to see you type thing. I would know. So yeah. Generally speaking, you know that this person has it like that when their standards are high. They expect for you to take care of yourself. They want you to look good like how they look good. They want you to have skills, intelligence, education, just like how they do. They want you to be on their level. They do not like cheap things. Will he buy cheap stuff every once in a while? Yes, he will. But when he buys cheap stuff, he makes sure that it looks like it's expensive. He wants things that look nice. He's not going to walk around with a wrinkled shirt on. He's not going to walk around with old busted shoes. He's not going to walk around smelling like stank. He makes sure that he takes care of himself. And he wants a woman that does the same thing. He wants a woman that is attractive. He wants a woman that looks good for him. He wants things that look good and that are attractive to him, whether it be, the woman on his arms or, the watch on his wrist type thing. He cares about all of those details. So yeah. His taste generally says a lot about what type of man he is, how much money he makes. You can generally tell by what he likes. Simple as that. And last but not least, number 20, the most obvious one of them all, which my video will talk about that later on, if not before this one. He's busy. If the guy you're talking to has nothing but time in the world, it is extremely unlikely that he has money, because how is he making money if he has all this time to talk to you and do stuff with you? Unless he's a YouTuber or something, which I doubt that's going to be the case. More than likely, he's capping and lying to you. Men that have money are busy. Not fake busy where he's really busy talking to the girls, but he's busy with work. He's busy with other plans. He's busy, with his sports meeting and hanging out with his friends at a, certain time, and he has a meeting at this time, and he has to, give a PowerPoint presentation at this time. I would know, like I said, I've dated people that were millionaires. And with that said, when these dudes have work to do, they have work to do. They are not going to break their schedule to go see you, even if they really want to. They'll make it up to you, but they're going to take care of their business and handle their work. If he's not busy, then more than likely he's not rich. Are there exceptions to the rule? Yes. But generally speaking, especially here in Japan, people that have money, they're not busy trying to just enjoy living off of their money. Because if you spend too much time having fun and letting your money work for itself, so to speak, you can start losing money. You'll overspend. You have to continue doing stuff to keep that money coming in, to keep making money. Of course, you can get into real estate and that, the other, and do things that'll help you otherwise. But again, I'm speaking in general. Generally speaking, if he has money, he does not have a ton of time. He has other priorities that he needs to handle, whether it be, going to and attending meetings and lectures, giving those meetings and lectures himself, speaking at conventions, handling his business, working his job, managing stuff, writing papers, etc., organizing. He's not going to have all the time in the world to message you, talk to you, Skype with you, speak with you online, Zoom, etc., video chat, text you, call you all day. He's going to be busy and preoccupied with his work and even trying to maintain his relationships with other people besides just you. So that is that. These are my 20 tips. Remember, this is my advice, my tips, what I find to generally work. There's a much longer list that we can go on for days and days and days, but these are the top 20 things. Generally speaking, in a nutshell, you can tell whether a guy has a good career or not based off of his willingness to talk about his career and education on his own without you having to ask him. 2, by the way that he looks. If the guy has a nice clean cut, he looks polished, suit and tie type of guy, no facial hair, no tattoos. He cares about, making his skin look nice, smelling good, clean laundry, and especially if you go to his house, like his house and everything is clean, he's immaculate, things like that. That's generally a clear indicator this dude is making at least somewhere minimum about $80,000 a year, but upwards of $100, $200, $300,000, etc. Do not be fooled. A guy that is clean does not instantly mean, oh my god, he's rich. A guy that has a car does not instantly mean, oh my god, he's rich. I'm just talking about a guy that has good money, and specifically for Japan. Some of these things can apply to people in other countries. I totally understand, but this is about Japan. This is about my dating experience. This is my advice to other girls. If you're looking for somebody that has stability, that has a good job, if you're curious about how to date people that do have money, have these careers, how to avoid wasting your time dating broke men. I can speak for myself. I'm not married right now, but I most certainly do not want to waste my time dating or marrying some dude working at a factory, because we cannot raise a family. I cannot be a stay-at-home mom with the dude that's working an hourly wage, getting paid $12 an hour. It's just not going to happen. So that's that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're a woman, please give your 2 cents. What has your experience been like here dating guys that do have money? If you have, do you have anything else you would add to this list? What are some other signs that you look out for, to tell if somebody truly has money, or if they're pulling your leg type thing? So like I said, there's more things I can add to this list. I wanted to keep it at 20 to keep it from being over an hour. We're approaching that hour right now. We're at 44 minutes right now. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, feel free to share your own tips, your own advice. This is my own. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Comic95. You can add me on Snapchat at Comic the Savior, and follow me on TikTok at Comic the Savior as well. You can like my Facebook fan page at Comic95 the Savior, and read my blog at Comic95.com. I highly suggest that you also check out my playlist on dating in Japan if you want more general advice about dating Japanese men. Other than that, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and I hope you will watch another video. Bye.